Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's Hangout. Today, it's all about selling video solutions. And I'm happy to have a special guest today here, Larissa from the Partner Enablement team. Larissa, maybe you want to introduce yourself a bit and what you actually doing?
Absolutely. So I've been at Google for 3 years now, and now I'm Partner Enablement Manager. And what we do is essentially help you guys to sell solutions more effectively. Perfect.
So maybe your agencies will get in future in touch with Larissa's team. They're experts on coaching and enable you and your whole organization to be better salespersons. And this is also one of the challenges we saw throughout the program, selling. And this is why I want to concentrate today on this topic to help you to become better salespersons. And not only we have a special guest today, also we're going to have a bit of a new approach. So today there are going to be some interactive elements. So all what you need is actually a pen and a paper in front of you. And so you can take some notes and also draw some new exercises. We will do it together with you. So stay tuned. And even better if you have a person sitting next to you so you can do it as a pair. So let's get started and jump directly into selling. I hand over to my awesome partner, Larissa.
Thank you, Moritz. So as I was saying, we're going to be talking about today on how to sell YouTube more effectively, right? So the first thing we wanted to remind you and to share with you is that YouTube has 1 billion users worldwide and is the second largest search engine after Google. Therefore, today we're going to be helping you to show this to your clients and to showcase it more effectively. And to start and kick off, we would like to talk about the art and science of sales. First, think about the following. How do you really feel when you're selling something, and how does it feel to be sold something, right? Therefore, in order to go forward, let's see where we are right now and how do we feel about selling things. So we're going to do a quick exercise. Please do it also on your side. Really fun. And whether you're in person or not, pick somebody who's going to be the seller and the other person will be the customer, okay? In this case, I will be Moritz's customer and Moritz is going to be selling me this very technical product and we'll see how it goes, okay? So whenever you're ready.
I will try to sell a dog. I think dogs are amazing. You know, dogs are the best partners in life and best friends you can have. Dogs are always there for you. They will never leave you. They won't cheat on you. So I think you should have a dog, Larissa. What do you think?
But I don't know. I'll think about it.
I think you should have, dogs are the best. I think you should have one. I have one too. So, okay. Everybody has a dog. You should have a dog.
And just because everybody has it. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a good story.
Fair enough. Thank you, Moritz. How did it go on your side? Was it hard? Because this was not about selling a really technical product or anything, but you rather know the features, let's say, but it gets kind of hard to get your point across, right? And you're just trying to close that sale.
Maybe also think about when you just last week or at this weekend, you went for the summer sales shopping. How was it when somebody tried to sell you something and the way they talk to you?
Absolutely. Now think about another example. Maybe you were shopping and somebody was pushing to make that sale, but in the middle, you went for coffee, right? And then when you were just right about to pay that coffee, the lady at the bakery suggested, hey, would you like a muffin with that? And you say, oh, sure. That doesn't feel that pushy, that like much of a sales process, right? However, it was an upsell. Did it feel like one or not really? This kind of more smooth approach is what we're going to work on today. Because sometimes this is the image that pops into our heads when we're talking about sales, right? Something we're just like trying to get the product across and can feel a bit distant. Remember that sales, an effective sale is also about creating trust and being there for your customers, being an advisor, right?
So today, I think it's super important to highlight again, you don't have to be afraid. We won't want you to become like kind of this pushy car salesperson, because I think our approach also in Google is more like this consultant trust advisor, right?
Absolutely. This is how we want you to think about yourselves. You're that person that your customer trusts to go for a solution and understand the benefits that whatever project you're trying to show them actually helps with their needs, okay? Perfect. Now we'd like to talk about a really interesting statistics, right? if I told you that your communication was split between 95% and 5%, what do you think these numbers represent? Any ideas, Moritz?
I think it's something with the way we speak and what we actually are saying, so kind of the content.
Absolutely, which is quite shocking. Think about 95% is composed by what, how you're showing yourself, right? Your tone of voice, your body language, and all these things are forming that 95% of your message, whereas what you actually say, the words, is only 5%. Therefore, this is why we're going to be exercising some techniques to make sure that 95% of your pitch is compelling.
That's huge, right? So just remember how much we always think about the product transformation, but at the end of the day, it's 95% how you actually then transport all the knowledge you have.
Absolutely. So to compare selling versus consulting, think about the salesman we had in the first slide, right? Just like pushing, how does that process usually feel? Maybe a couple of questions in the beginning. Hey, I don't know, you were shopping for shoes this weekend, right? Hey, what are you looking for? And then, hey, I have this great pair of shoes. But most of the conversation is actually trying to close the deal, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, they look great on you. No, they don't really fit. I think they look amazing on you, Moritz. And most of that talk with the customer is on the bottom of the pyramid, right? Just trying to close the deal. And this is where the conversation can feel a bit not that natural or a bit pushy. Totally. And today, we would like you to think of the new way of selling, where actually we would like you to focus on top of the pyramid and be asking more questions at the beginning. Why? To understand your client's needs and to make them realize that this is actually a product that's going to help them with whatever they're looking for. Therefore, you go down the pyramid and it turns out that closing is way easier because now you know exactly what your customer is looking for to introduce the solution, the benefits to them. And eventually, closing becomes a bit more of a straightforward and natural way to get the point across. Now,
we're just going to take a look at a small video. I think this is also a really good summary of what we just talked about, the difference between the pushy one, where you just try to just sell the dog, and actually the way we want you to think about creating a need for your client. And this could be any solution.
Sure.
Okay, we have a bit of a tech problem here. So I'm just going to make a quick summary of the video. If you just want to watch it yourself, just go on YouTube in the search bar and look for Leonardo DiCaprio and the Wolf of Wall Street selling a pen. So actually what's happening here is two scenes. In the first scene, DiCaprio is asking one of his members of his friends to sell him a pen. And he's just asking them, hey, why don't you sign me an autograph? And as DiCaprio doesn't have the pen, he has to buy the pen from his friend. And the second scene, which you're now seeing in the video, it's after he had this great success and also a failure of being the Wolf of Wall Street. And he's giving sales trainings to other people. And he's also asking somebody, hey, why don't you want to sell me a pen? And those persons, just like I did, they tried to sell the pen saying, this is an awesome pen, this is beautiful, you should buy it. So the summary of the video is actually, as a salesperson, also a consulting and trusted advisor, you have to create a need on the side of the persons you want to sell something. So because he wanted him to sign an autograph and he doesn't have a pen, he had to buy it. On the other hand, he just wanted to push the pen, which doesn't work. So this is kind of the summary of the video and what we want you to remember. So
definitely take a look later on and you'll be able to compare the two ways where you can sell something. Now that we've learned a bit more on how important it is to create the need and be consultants to our customers, we're going to have a second shot and selling something. Now we're going to get a bit more technical. So this time, Moritz is going to try to sell me these pair of headphones whenever you're ready.
So just remember the first sale about the dog. Now we try to sell the Bose phones think also how you would apply what you just saw to your partner or maybe to somebody in the agency.
Exactly. And
so let's get started.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So Larissa, and I know you're traveling a lot, right?
Yes, absolutely. And
Were you traveling
I love
too?
it. Yeah, I was in Spain last week.
Nice.
It was really nice. Thank you.
Cool. So lots of time in the airplane?
Yes, and actually, while I love babies, there was this baby that was not having a really great time, and there was a lot of noise.
Okay,
it was kind of hard flight.
Okay, lots of noise in the airplane.
Yes.
Lots of noise waiting at the airport for the plane maybe being delayed.
Yeah. Perks of the job.
Yeah, and the job is stressful, right?
Yeah, it can be. I like it, but yeah slightly.
Is it easy to catch up with all the emails while you're traveling, or is there enough time in the evening, or do you also have to answer emails at the airport and in the plane?
So mainly for me, it's about focusing, right? So it's not about like squeezing the time in, but I like to close up a bit, and sometimes it's hard for me.
Because of the noise?
And other factors, right? I don't know, a lot of things are happening around me, but yeah, noise is a part of it.
Cool. So how would it be if you could just leave the world behind and just focus on things you want to execute?
That'd be absolutely nice. I wonder how we can do that, but it could be okay.
Yeah. So let's just imagine you could focus and there would be no noise around you, no baby.
Oof.
Would be something you'd like to be interested in?
Yeah, I wish I could do that when I'm traveling.
And how many hours you think would save you? Just like, let's think how much you travel. A lot of hours, right?
So definitely like in the beginning of when I'm trying to catch up with work or so on, I've seen it takes me 20 minutes to just like sink in with everything that's going around me. So taking that into account, like I have around like 2 planes, like whenever I go in and then I need to transfer. So eventually like per trip could be around 40 minutes of my time saved and me feeling better, which is also important.
That's a lot. So that would be also worth a lot for you. You would spend some money on getting this time saved and you could focus, and so it would be something you would spend money on?
It's something I'd like to look at, right? To invest if it works for me and it's something that is going to come back.
It's investment in your work and also in your personal, right? Because you can focus, you can relax. This is important.
Absolutely. Like for me, it's about feeling good.
Cool. So how about you? I could show you a solution which could give all this to you.
Sure. Let's see. What is it?
Perfect. It would be headphones. Sounds so simple, but they would be able to kind of let you focus and let you relax. So I could give you an example which you could try today.
Okay.
And let's meet up in the evening again, and then you can tell me how it felt. And then we can think about how you want to buy them.
Sure, I'd like to try. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Moritz. How did it go on your side? Did it feel more natural? How did it feel to sell something when you were actually discovering what your client wanted, right? I want you to pay attention to something that Moritz did that is key to success. And is whenever he was approaching that part of the conversation where he tells me, hey, would you like to try some headphones? He actually started saying, hey, a solution for you. This is what I have for you. He didn't jump right in and just bombard me with all the technicalities of the headphones, whether they were noise canceling for now or not, but rather just to understand where I was coming from and what I needed. Okay, so make your notes, take on great things that Moritz showed in this example, and make sure you apply them to your next pitch.
And I think this is also key when you think about when you start about YouTube. YouTube can be so complicated, full of technical things. But just think about 1 or 2 simple things what could be a solution for your client, meaning his audience is there, etc. We're going to focus later more on arguments which you can use out there, but always remember this simple thing.
Absolutely. It's about making it digestible to your client. The easier you go, the smoother the conversation would be. So now we would like to touch on how to structure that sales pitch or that customer interaction in a bit more depth. So we have 6 steps for you to remember. So also now time to eventually take some paper and a pen and note those down. And we also want you to remember the following. This goal of the framework is to make sure that you can establish a repeatable process in which, depending on the client and the product, you can adjust it, but this is something you can iteratively do, okay? So the 6 steps are essentially planning and researching, opening the agenda, effective questioning, summary of needs, solution selling, and closing. So we're going to start. I'm going to hand over to Moritz now about creating that need and a bit on effective questioning.
Perfect. So effective questioning is really key if you want to succeed in a client conversation. So maybe you already have some questions you're always going to ask. One thing I would like you to encourage now, talk to your members in the agency and maybe make a list together of a question which would be suitable. And we're also going to help you now to find more questions which you can really use. So what's super important and the most important question, and we all know this, is the why. Why should somebody invest in YouTube? Why should somebody go after Google search? And this is the biggest question you want to solve. And then going down, how, what, when, where, no, who, closed, yes, no, those are actually have a lower value. So the most important question that's going to be your, if you see it as an arsenal of weapons, that's going to be your most powerful thing if you solve the why. Other things which are super important going back, helping you to solve the why, it's called the 6 C's. So just write down on your paper 6 C's, and this is something which will always going to help you, especially in the client call. So this will be something we would all like to encourage you in the agency to use whenever you have a new client, maybe a new quarter, or just want to refresh a relationship with your client, because those 6 C's go beyond product and help you to solve the why. So the first one is company. How much do you actually know about the company of your client? Do you know how they make money? Do you know how they're structured? This is such important information because you can later use it for creating a solution. The next one, are you actually talking to the decision maker or who's the CEO? What are the needs of the person you're talking to make his manager happy? Because if you can make the person you try to sell something, if you know his goal towards his manager, it will be much easier for you to say, hey, I can help you to be successful, and together we can then report, for example, to your manager. And also it's a way for you to build new relationships within the company of your client. Next one, customers, also super important. Most of the time, think about when you receive a briefing from client side, it might be, okay, we know our target group is between 18 and 34, ETZ. They think they know the customers. Now think how much of a value you can add with all the data you have and your experience in digital, but also challenge maybe sometimes your client about the customer and about the bigger vision, what they think about the customers. The other thing is the current marketing, also super important, because you might be the one building synergies. If they say, hey, we're investing TV, then you can say there's a big need actually for you to have a search campaign at the same time running. Or if they're going to have an offline flight with huge, in the newspaper, how about you have a YouTube campaign at the same time running? And the next thing, competition, also super important. It's always a great way to show a client, hey, actually your competitors are already doing YouTube, why not you? And the last thing, challenges. Maybe there's a challenge within the marketing that they don't have their ROI is too big, or there might be a challenge about they're facing with digital problems or the setup of how they measure. Also, those challenges are key in order to win trust and also to build a solution for your client. So what I want you to do now, and we also encourage you throughout the program to do it, solve those 6 C's for your clients and have those 6 C's answered maybe even in your CRM system, and just have those always checked so you know what's going on those ones. And this is going to help you so much to improve the relationship with your client, because you always know what's going on and you are always there to be the trusted advisor to find a solution. So here, some example questions which you can use. Think about your own questions and maybe together as an agency create a little library of those questions. The W question, which we just saw, starting with the why, and then add the 6 C's and train especially your sales org to use this in a better way. And all of this, and especially those questions, they're going to help you actually to create the gap. The gap about Larissa, what we just talked now, was that she has issues because she travels so much and she can't concentrate, but she still has to work and get things done. So this was the gap. And together, then we could build a solution saying, how about you could focus and relax? Think about how YouTube or search could be here a solution for your client maybe they are aware, or you through your 6 C's and the question, you find out that the audience, they don't know anymore where the audience is, so they see the young audience disappearing. You can say, hey, how about there would be a simple way for you to reach a highly engaged audience with a video? Wouldn't it be great? And then you could start to have the conversation about YouTube. Also, one thing to highlight here, think about who you're talking to. Back to the 6 C's. If it's somebody who's an expert at digital, just as you can use lots of those words. If it's more somebody from the marketing who's not used to digital language at all, use simple language, as we just said, to make it more better for the client. Later, Larissa are going to talk a bit more about this also, how you can help to shift and make your language easy.
Absolutely. And here it's all coming together, right? We're talking about the more interesting questions, why, who, how, instead of, hey, are you the CMO? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Get away from those closed answer questions, and you're going to get more from your clients.
Yeah, definitely go away from this yes, no. Do you know YouTube? No. And every time we're going to open a conversation with somebody answering with no, the whole energy is gone, and you can actually say, okay, I'm going to hang up. Another thing which is super good to do with your clients is this little exercise. We all know marketing funnel, but we're now going to use it together with effective questioning. Why is this so good? Because we want you to use the exercise that your client going to fill this out together with you. Again, the client will create his own gap here. So how does it normally look? And I'm just going to take a pen and a paper. So you see the funnel, and on the left side, we want the client to write down what he's doing offline. And on the right side, we want him to write him down what he's doing online. So what we normally is getting, so offline, he's doing radio, or maybe he's doing newspaper, which is then on the top, the awareness part. And then offline, further down, he's doing small sales events and things like this. On the online side, he will definitely use maybe search, shopping, so all the performance products. So let him fill this out. The left side, offline, on the top, awareness, more down, then more the performance part of offline, and the same with online. And then what's going to happen, and I hope you can see it, I don't have the best handwriting. What's going to actually happen is that this red mark thing on the online side is the online awareness part. So what you will see that the client has a gap in the online awareness part, and he's going to actually give you the solution here, because you're going to fill out offline everywhere. You're going to fill out online the performance part, and then you're going to realize, oh, there's actually a gap in online awareness. So this is a simple exercise which always works great. Also, when you have a face-to-face meeting, let your client draw those different things, and then you can say, okay, we see there is actually a big problem with the online part of awareness. How can we fix this? How about YouTube? So we're now moving on after we talked about plan and research, which were the 6 C's. Opening agenda, which is also great, as said, to use the funnel. And now we had also some talk about effective questioning, summary of needs, solution selling. Now I'm going to hand over to Larissa for the next part, which is summary of needs.
Absolutely. Thank you. So while we have the 6 steps that we talked about before, we want to focus on these 3 for now. I want you to do an exercise with me. How many times have you been to a meeting, you're super focused, you take a lot of notes, but then nothing happens? And they were all very excited in the meeting, and you really felt that connection with the client, but you couldn't follow through. How many times has that really happened in your life, in your sales pitches? In order to avoid this, we have a solution I want to share with you today. And it's simple 5 steps. It's about creating a summary. This will allow your client to acknowledge whatever you discussed in that conversation and make sure you clarify next steps and you commit to them. So let's just go through those 5 steps really quickly. First, I want you to introduce that summary. Just let them know what's coming their way. And something as simple as like, hey, let's recap what we've been discussing right now about solution X for your business, right? Just make sure we're on the same page, etc. Next, let's summarize the current situation because it's really effective just for everybody to understand where we are. Hey, currently we have this marketing mix, and as Moritz was showing us, we see, for example, this gap in the online piece when you need to create awareness, right? This could be your part number 2. Next, the third. Summarize the desired situation. Where does your client want to go? So therefore, I see, Moritz, your main goals are your priorities are X, Y, and Z. This is also going to put the customer in the mindset that, oh, this is actually what we've been discussing, and this is where I want to be, right? For sure, step number 4, don't forget to ask confirming questions. Why? You want to make sure that you're on the same page with your client, right? So make sure to ask them, hey, is this correct? Am I understanding this right? This, again, will get them on board and make sure that you can go on with that conversation, having the commitment from your client. And last but not least, have just transitioning to the next steps. Oh, okay, now that we're on the same page to understand where we are, where we want to go, let's just talk about what we can do next together. So let's quickly recap and put it into practice. What they want to do, asking questions and listening. Start easy. The more digestible you do it to your client, the easier it's going to get to transfer that message across. Don't get technical right away. We're going to talk a bit more about that later, but make sure just have a relatable conversation. Remember, you're an advisor and it's somebody you can trust, so let it ease in your client. Just a clarification questions, and remember what Moritz was telling us about asking with why, how, to get the most out of that conversation with the client. Follow a discovery flow so you can understand the current situation and where they want to go. Those questions that you raise, they need to lead to credibility, right? So you understand what the situation of the client is, just we did it with the headphones. And last but not least, your effective summary. So the client understands where you guys are at. So how do you structure a sales pitch and customer interaction? We said that we're going to focus on 3, 4, and 5 today. So the next one, we're going to do it in 2 parts, okay? So really important in selling is also crafting a story, okay? And we're going to see one of the tools that can help us do that. With Moritz, thank you.
Because it's so important that you speak the customer language. We're so used to being digital experts, and also when we talk to each other, Google and the agency, we're always going to use CPV, TrueView, bumper ads, must-ads, conversion tracking, overlays, in-stream. And those words your clients are not used to at all. So think about how you can highlight the benefits rather than the feature. So think about TrueView, it's actually power of choice. Bumper ads, it's a short 6 seconds attention. Must-add is all the attention of the YouTube users for 1 day. Conversion tracking is that you know that you achieved your goals. So again, simple as we just talked about the 6 C's, where we wanted you to write down all the different questions and make a summary together with your agency. Think about speaking the customer language, how you can make even like a small dictionary for all those digital buzzwords, and try to highlight the benefits here, and really try to avoid then using too many of the digital words when you have a call for client, especially when you go high in the hierarchy of the client side. The less people will know about digital, and the less it's also important for them, because the only important thing is to them the benefit which you're going to give to them. So maybe even think about listening to each other and practicing this, and every time maybe you use a digital word, you have to put 10 cents for charity. So as we just talked, we want you to link the benefit and then build the bridge to the future. So think back about what we just discussed about the Bose headphones. So we saw that Larissa has the need to focus. The benefit would be that we could deliver focus and that she could enjoy it, and then we build the bridge to the noise cancelling feature of the Bose headphones. So this would be the way you go. You start with the summary of the need. You would highlight the benefit and then build the bridge to the feature. Super simple example about YouTube. So this would be, for example, you mentioned you wanted to make sure people in your local area know your business. Yes, that's true. So let the client side confirm it. Then we highlight the benefits. So, for example, with video, we will be able to reach your local audience, and you only pay when somebody really decides to watch your clip, and then build the bridge to, hey, this is something I can exactly give you. It's called YouTube TrueView. So it's super simple, super easy. I just highlighted you the benefit.
Absolutely. And one of the tips whenever you're using this framework is don't get caught up in, oh, I need to go through all 4 and they need to be the exact same length. Please notice what Moritz did. And on the bridge, this is just very swift. And to make sure that you make it about your client. So go through all the steps and make sure you cover each of them and give them the importance they need. See how prominent the benefit part is, okay? And in the link, we didn't start talking about TrueView or any other things, but about the client.
So try to maybe even use this later this week or later today when you have a client call. In the beginning, just think about really this link, benefit, bridge feature, and just make it super simple. Another video we wanted you to see and to highlight is Simon Sinek, Start With Why. So just also go now to YouTube and type in the video and take a look at the video after our hangout. Again, we just highlighted before in the pyramid the importance of the why. And this is also Simon Sinek talks about why is something important to a person. We always tend again to start with a what. What would be, this is true of you, you can do X, Y, Z, but it's not interesting for the client. Why? Because his biggest goal is to solve, he needs to find a new audience. So start with a why. Again, you see an overview, also maybe simple for you when you have a client pitch or prepare for a pitch. Just concentrate yourself, focus, and just write down these 3 things, just why, how, what, and then fill them out. Why YouTube? Because you have to reach the new audience. How? With giving them interactive content or using the power of choice. And what would be, again, then TrueView product. So actually, it's a similar scenario as we just had with building the bridge. Again, here you concentrate more on really that you got the why of your client.
Exactly, the core.
So again, here, quick example, why YouTube? Here are the top 3 benefits. Then how does it work? Make it simple again. And then what you would highlight the feature of the YouTube product. Cool. So this is an awesome thing, and I can't wait for you to explain it. There are 3 to 3 solutions.
Thank you, Moritz. So we've been talking about a lot of things you can pull out in your toolkit for selling, right? There's effective questioning. We've just gone through the link benefit framework. We did the why, the core, why you things matter from the root. And I would like to share with you another solution that we have. And it's the 3x3 solution, or a 3x3 matrix. And it's actually composed of 4 steps, and it's really good to just get that message across as well. So step 1, you're gonna preview your key points, okay? You're just gonna give an overview to the client of why, in this case, YouTube is a great solution for them to just mention them out, okay? So just 1, 2, 3. Step 2, it's about explaining those key points, okay? So, okay, first point, it's about XYZ. Second point, you elaborate a bit more. And the third point, you finish strong. The third step is actually summarizing those 3 things that you told them to make sure that your client retains those 3 benefits that you want to showcase. And step 4, really important, gain the client feedback. Oh, can you see more? It's why the solution is actually good for you, and so on. Okay, so essentially this framework is about telling the client what you're going to tell them. So you tell them the 3 points, then you tell them those 3 points, and then you tell them what you told them. It's a really funny way to frame this. And I'd like to do an example with YouTube for you. For example, step 1, previewing your key points. Let's say, okay, I am sure that YouTube is a great solution for you because of 3 things. First, because your customers are already there. Second, because image and sound are really powerful in getting your message across. And third, because it's a really good and cost-effective solution for your marketing. Step 2, explain your key points. First, your clients are already there because YouTube has over 1 billion users worldwide and is the 2nd biggest search engine after Google. right? And there is a strong increase in watch time on this channel as well. And eventually there's, as Moritz said, the average audience is from 18 to 34, and this is exactly the audience that you want to get to, right?
I think also viewability is
Absolutely.
super high. So would you say in step 2, you would also put in more numbers and things, facts you learned and prepared?
Absolutely, because great question, Moritz. So in the first step, you just got them excited. And the second step, you can start throwing numbers, some stats. But here, it's a completely different approach, right? I didn't start overwhelming you with a lot of irrelevant numbers for you, whereas I told you, hey, these are the benefits that are going to help you drive that business and get to that objective that you have. If you go through the second and third point, it could be, for example, you told me your unique selling point was X, Y, and Z. And it's really hard to get that message across just having some text on your website, right? What if we used image and sound to get your message across in a platform where your customers are just already spending their time, right? And point 3, the cost-effective marketing solution. This is a great way for to only pay whenever they watch 30 seconds of your ads, right? So to summarize, this is why we think YouTube would be a great solution for you. So first, your customers are already there. Second, image and sound are great to convey your message. And third, it's a cost-effective way to make marketing, right? So Moritz, do you now see the value of YouTube within your business?
Totally think so. I think I got really those 3 messages, yeah.
Exactly. While it may sound repetitive to you at the beginning, you'll see that after all your sales pitch, this is definitely going to remain in your clients, not only subconscious, but like in their fresh top of mind. So make sure that you use it and tell us how it goes.
And again, sometimes this might sound awkward to you because you're going to say so often the benefits and review them. But for client, it's not, because this is all new for them. There's so much information. So the easier you make it for them to remember what you were saying, the better it is. So really give them the structure, give them something to hold on, this little stick throughout the whole conversation. Always say, okay, those are the 3 things. Can you confirm them, please? This is going to really help your client to feel good in the conversation, and also makes your pitch succeed.
Absolutely. And as we were saying, we were going to do this crafting a story in 2 ways. The second part, I'm going to hand it over to Moritz.
Perfect. So first one, 3 to 3, I would also recommend, generally speaking, to review this hangout maybe 1 or 2 times, and every time maybe focus on a different exercise. And the second thing is actually to present your solution. Why is this important? Because you're always going to have so many different persons you're going to speak to, and also you're going to have different persons in the room. And if you think about the different types, maybe also think about your team members. There was always going to be somebody who's more on the rational level, who thinks more with the head. So for those people, it's important to know the numbers, refer to case studies, talk about the money, and also compare to competitors. So think back to the 6 C's. This is where you got lots of information. There's also a potential for you to fill those in. So cover the rational level with lots of numbers, case studies. And then the emotional level, think about the customer journey. Think about real life examples, like I was traveling, or when I arrived here, everybody in the train was watching YouTube. Use storytelling. And also, it's important, you might be yourself, you might be only on the emotion level. For example, I tend to be more on the emotion level. So I also tend to do more customer journey, real life example, and storytelling. But only because I am this type doesn't mean that, for example, another person in the room will get it. So always think about those 2 things, rational level and emotion level, and try to cover them both, even though you're more likely to also like personal-wise the rational or the emotion level. This is super important in order to win and make your clients happy.
Absolutely. It's about balance, because funny enough, I'm a person who is very attracted to numbers. If you want to convey a message to me, it's about percentage. Tell me what is going on in the market. So yeah, make sure to involve what Moritz or Larissa may like in that conversation pitch.
Yeah, so always get the balance right, especially when you present your solutions. And we just want to help you to find those because we have so many different ways for you to find those. Think with Google, great platform. There are lots of case studies, lots of numbers, especially also now more and more about YouTube, where you can highlight, see this client had a great success with TrueView. So write this down, think with Google, take a look, and take a look at the different numbers and facts you find there. Also, the data collection, assume one of your favorite tools then. You find lots of relevant data, also presented in a really nice way. Again, 7 out of 10, 3 out of 4. This is something which sounds much more powerful. Also percentage. So there you find more data to back up your storytelling. To back up, again, when you think about the three solutions, there's stuff and data you can find to put it in. And again, before, also think about the customer journey, and there are also different ways to tell them. And so before we had maybe the customer journey is more straight. Today it's much more complex. Again, think with Google, you find nice stories also to tell your clients. Always think about personal examples too. Like when I arrived here to the meeting today, I was on YouTube and everybody was watching YouTube. Think about personal ways which you can integrate in an authentic way. So people recognize when it's bullshit. So think about really nice story, which also means something to you, the better will succeed. And again, think about the customer journey and how you can link it to the solutions. Don't highlight the feature. Think about the benefit and the solution first. And this is a great way for you then to create the story. So, for example, the marketing funnel, again, creating demand because you want people to look after you with then YouTube or GDN, and then capturing demand with search. For example, you've just found out with the 6Cs that your client is using TV. He will create a great demand with TV. So now with search, you maybe are able to capture it. As we just talked, those are the different solutions, and then the benefit you can link. And again, we talked about this before. The personal communication, we can't stress enough on this, is so important. So there are different numbers out there. This is just another one to really highlight how important it is. The body language, the tone, the pitch of voice. So this one is saying that 93% of body language and tone and pitch of the voice together make a great, of the personal communication. Only 7% is actually the words we're going to use, or even then the content. Most of the time, especially you as a digital expert, you really concentrate on the words we use and the knowledge we have. So now we want to encourage you, especially today, if you're also then talk to the rest of the agency, think more about the body language, think more about the tone and the pitch of the voice you're going to use. And if your pitch succeed or maybe not, there can be always objections coming back from your client. So Larissa is going to tell us a bit more about how to deal with those objections, because I think especially with YouTube, I think we know they're going to come.
Absolutely. And think of objection handling just as one of the components within that whole conversation. It's not necessarily a problem or that the client really doesn't want to do it. They're just asking for more information, and you're there to give it to them.
So don't be the lawyer kid. I'm always the lawyer kid. So you're going to, I'm going to get aggressive or going to be in the defending position. When somebody has an objective, be more like the happy cat, because as I just highlighted, when somebody has an objection, that means he really was listening to you and he thinks about considering the solution. So you're just really close to actually close the pitch, and objections can be actually quite powerful way to close them.
Exactly, because if this is what it's blocking them from actually going further with their solution, this is your last step to get a message across. So remember these 4 steps: acknowledge and empathizing that objection, clarifying, okay, is this what you really mean? Is this actually the problem? Responding to the objection, you have all the data you need, you understand the features, the benefits, most importantly. And don't forget to confirm that the objection has been answered. So also we acknowledge that, hey, this is not a problem anymore, and we can go further to whatever doubts you may have. Because also what can happen in objection handling is you get caught up in the moment, you turn out to be Lorica and so on. So we want to share with you 4 key things that you should always remember whenever doing objection handling. Avoid the words such as however, actually, but, because they can connect and make you think about opposing ideas, right? We want to be in the right mindset. Make sure to get commitment. Remember on the other slide, whenever we're saying, hey, let's wrap up and confirm that this objection has been answered. Make sure that you have your client's buy-in and that you agree that with all the data that you shared now, that objection has been overcome.
But even also saying, if I can help you to overcome this objection, would you then go with YouTube? Yes, I would.
Exactly.
Then you also know, okay, this is the last one you have to get over with.
Exactly. You're almost there. It's the finish line. Also, now we're talking about how to handle the objection. Don't argue. Whenever you win that argument, you're losing the client, you're losing the sale. This is about understanding what the real problem is. Remember that balance that Moritz was talking about between the rational and the emotional piece. Understand where that objection is coming from. Is it that I feel this doesn't work, or I want some more data, and make sure that you tackle it in the right way. And last but not least.
And again, if you argue, it's going to be like a fight. So this is also what's going to build distance between you and your client. You want to be actually with your client, helping him to overcome this challenge. So just remember this on the argue side, and then prioritize, really think, clarify one important objection and say, okay, is this the main objection? And also ask questions again, why is this a problem? What's the core? Really try to find this one piece of core. This is the most important thing. And then if you can overcome this, you close the deal in a great way. And oftentimes this even improves the relationship with your client once you had an objection, because he knows then that you're a trusted advisor and you're there to help him.
You just hit it. I was going to say that it's all about trust. The more arguments you give your client to believe the solution, you're all set. And we'd like to wrap up in a really fun way, just to encourage you as homework to take out your smartphone and record yourself using all these techniques that we've shared with you today and pitch YouTube. Think about the why, think about all the things we've been gone through, like the 3x3 matrix, all the 6 steps of pitching, thinking about the benefits rather than the actual feature, connect with your customer, talk in their language, right? And we want to know how it went, right? So we'd like you to please share with us.
Especially with your account managers from Google. So just send them your little video across of the Hangout. Also think about making a little challenge within your agency. So everybody maybe has to record a small video. So just, again, watch this Hangout several times. Pick one of the exercises, one of the things you want to apply, record the video. To 2 minutes, and then again do it with a partner, switch between the partners, and feel free then to share it with your account managers. They can share with us, and Larissa can give you some feedback.
Absolutely.
Cool. Then we hope you enjoyed this Hangout. I think it was also a new approach for us to concentrate more on the selling. We try to make it interactive with the different exercises. So we're there now for Q&A. So just please, if you have any questions or anything you want to clarify, just write in the chat. We're now there in the chat to answer any questions. So take a look. Let's take a look if there had been any questions. So can you share the 6 C's with us? We will reach out to your account manager so he can share it with you.
It's actually one of the most powerful tools that we have, right?
But the 6 C's, you just saw them. You can do it just by yourself. Just write down the 6 C's. What was it standing for? And then try to collect questions by yourself for them. Cool. If that's it, if there are no questions left, I hope you enjoyed the Hangout. Thank you so much, Larissa.
Thank you for the invitation. I hope this was fruitful and that you take all of these tools and you use them as you see fit.
Totally. And we just kind of encourage you to just shoot the video, send it over. We're excited to see some examples. Just send it to your account manager and they will forward to us. So have a great start into the week. And see you next week when we're going to take a look at the YouTube channel and more on the content side. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.